Man, look how pink everything looks. Look how pink everything looks.
Welcome back to another episode of the Retro Retreat. It's been a while. It's been a few weeks. It's life just got in the way, and although we've recorded a bunch, we've just not had an opportunity to edit and create any kind of YouTube content. Yeah, we might have taken on too much, and now we're paying the consequences. Not having enough time for anything. But yeah, so this video here is going to be featuring Ralph heavily as he is preparing the bunkie for his longtime dream of creating Flippers, which is a pinball and arcade. So to start, he had to clean out the bunkie. We had, over the course of the renovation, been filling it with stuff from the house and odds and ends as we were cleaning out the house and renovation items, construction items, that kind of thing. Rather than deal with it for one reason or another, couldn't get to the dump, all the snow, the cleanup, just trying to empty the house so the renovations could start. Was the bunkie was a perfect location to be able to store things in. However, now we're needing to address that. We decided, I'm going to say we, it was mostly Ralph, but we decided to participate this year in the Shed Crawl. And the Shed Crawl is an event that takes place during the Fish Fun and Folk Festival, which is an annual event that takes place in Twillingate. And Shed Crawl is as it sounds. You go around visiting people's sheds, and there's artists and collectors and just neat odds and ends. There's boat builders that open up their sheds and you can visit and chat with people. So Ralph wanted to participate in this and have it set up either fully or partially as his arcade with pinball machines and that kind of thing. As he did the work for this, he just couldn't catch a break, and one bad luck turn after another. But he did manage to clean it out and put something together to participate in the Shed Crawl. He discovered when he was cleaning out, after he had cleaned everything out, there was a heavy rain day, that there's a really severe leak by the window. I think it's just that the window hasn't been properly installed in this makeshift shed, and it had come in under the sill and pooled in. So Ralph has pulled the wall off on one side to let it dry out and replace some of the worst boards. And while cleaning this and loading up his truck to take things to the dump, he did manage to break his back window of his truck. So that was a no good, very bad day for him. But he took it in stride and pushed through, and like I said, he managed to get the shed together enough to participate in the Shed Crawl, and it seemed to be well received by people. He was able to open it up and chat with people that came to visit. His intention after cleaning this out was to give some fresh paint to the room. I think he was just going to use whatever paint he could find lying around in the shed, and because it would probably be multiple colors, he was just going to do some graphic images and abstract designs on the wall, just to freshen things up and add some more color, I guess. You can see it's still already pretty colorful, but as he was doing it, he discovered he didn't like the way it was turning out. So we found some paint on sale at the hardware store, and that was a good enough color for us. Anyway, as we catch up on our content, things that we've recorded, we'll soon be up to speed and back to real time decorating and cleaning up the retro retreat. We're well past our original opening date, and even gone past a second hope for date. But now I'm just hoping for this year to have it ready. All right, enjoy.
We are in my shed, and I am wondering what color paint I potentially have here. I have and obviously if you've been following along, you shouldn't be surprised by the mess. Side note, check out this table. And the chair. Ignore the fact it's upside down. These actually might be going in the kitchen. We haven't decided yet. Ignore the absolutely ungodly mess here. But, spray paint. I might spray paint some walls just because I have a lot of extra spray paint. I've got a lot of that red that was supposed to be for repainting the 1989 Toyota Camry that I have in the backyard. That project is not going to happen anytime soon, so maybe I'll use some of that. I can do a good rattle can even coat. But what have I got down here? I got some down here. Oh, I think this is deck paint. It's a redwood semi-transparent. I really want to use that. That's brown stain. I don't know about brown. Brown doesn't seem very exciting. What have I got over there? And again, more stain. Okay, I don't have anything interesting here. I thought I did. This is going to be harder than I thought. I had a bunch of spray paint the other year, too. Aaron and I picked up a lot of, I think it was pink and blue spray paint that was like on sale. It was like $1 a can. I'm not sure where I put those. I had like 10, 15 cans of that. It's around here somewhere. I'll take a look, see if I can find it. It's a rainy day outside, so I'm going to tackle the bunkie somewhat. As you can see, this is the previous paint job. Considering we're going to cover the walls with artwork and pinball related stuff and posters, and a lot of it are going to actually be hid by the pinball and arcade machines. I don't necessarily need to repaint it, but I don't like it, and I feel like it just, if nothing else, it needs a little freshen up. However, A, I don't want to spend a whole lot of money on it. B, I don't know what I want to do. However, I have dozens of random cans of spray paint. All sorts of colors. A lot of it's pretty old. I used to do a lot of spray painting projects with the kids. Like if you've ever seen the planets in the mountains, I used to do that with the kids a lot. And I use it for a lot of pinball related stuff and also for furniture. I've done some really nice rattle can jobs. I can do a good rattle can job on furniture. So I'm thinking maybe I try some color blocking, some triangles. And I do it kind of all over the place. I got an idea in mind. No idea if it's going to work out. But if you want to watch some zany insanity of my brain at play, let's see what happens. Find my phone and take an obligatory before photo. So I'm thinking, if you see on this side, there's kind of a line because it's another piece of plywood. That'll be 1/3 of 3 different sections, and I'll do the same distance on that side for another section. The middle section will be bigger, but it'll give some sense of balance. Another thing I got to think about too is that I'm spray painting over these colors, which may affect coverage and coloring. So that's something I got to think. Not going to be a big deal there, but especially when you've got areas that, like if a triangle goes over a blue and yellow, a blue and green area, it might be hard to cover. But we'll see what happens. It's probably where I'll use the darker colors. pink everything looks. Look how pink everything looks. Welcome to the Shed Crawl video. I'll talk a little bit at the end of this video about all the problems that I had to get here, but today is the Shed Crawl. The Shed Crawl is an event in Twillingate as part of the Fish Fun and Folk Festival. Folks open up their shed to kind of show off their hobbies. You get a lot of people with antiques, woodworking, stuff like that, neat stuff. Hopefully it goes somewhere. I know there's been talk of turning into an actual thing outside of the festival, like its own thing, but we'll see where it goes. I've wanted to participate for a few years with the pinball and arcade stuff. Haven't really had the chance. Now that we're opening the Retro Retreat and the bunkie out here, we're going to do it as part of that. However, when you say shed crawl, you don't usually mean that you can crawl through the shed. So yeah, that's an issue/decision I made. Had some leaks. I pulled that off yesterday. Make matters worse, right now there are actually no pinball machines in here that are functionally working. Yeah, this has been a bit of a nightmare to get here. So yeah, like I said, I'll talk about that in a little bit. But you can watch me slap these together. And I don't know where I go from there, but peace. And by the feel of it, the legs where the nuts go in, normally there's a nut embedded in the machine that you just thread it into. By the feel of that, that's not there. So it's always something. Considering my luck lately, what do you think the odds of this machine turning on are? Volley. What year it is? 70 something. Electromechanical game. And I got 1% battery. Okay, so yeah. Let's turn it on, see if it works. It probably won't. And then I'm going to hate my life. Or more likely, we're going to go dead before I turn it on. Let's see what happens. Lights are on. Oh, I didn't put a bolt in there. That could have been bad. Wish I had a quarter. And the bunkie is bunkie-ish. Kind of, sort of, maybe. As you can see, we're kind of full in here. I did the Fish Fun and Folk Festival with a 16-foot booth as an antique vendor at the same time I was doing the shed crawl because I'm a moron. Everything went in here after that, so it's kind of jam-packed here now. I got to get this out of here again. But in terms of where we are in here, let's see what happened. I would still need to redo the flooring. I was talking about that a little bit, but if you can see here, if you can see all the nails, for some reason they did nails all the way up, and these aren't into a beam, they just go straight through this board. If it gets really, really damp, like during winter and stuff like that, moisture will come up through the nail heads and condense on the floor. So that needs to be fixed, which means I'm probably going to have to take some blue SM and put up underneath. But when that's done, I wanted to put a new flooring on top of this. There's actually an old shed that's getting torn down. I was taking boards out of the attic from that. That'll go down on here. That needs to be done relatively soon because they're tearing that down. So that's something I need to get to. That I wanted to get done before the shed crawl, before now. Didn't happen. That one got thrown to the side. Then I was doing the painting. You saw the spray paint. And I didn't like how that looked. And then, unfortunately, I didn't film myself painting this because A, I was too busy, B, I didn't care, and C, the camera was dead. So I did a coat of primer. Actually, I think I did 2 coats of primer, and I actually only did 1 coat of this pinkish color. So it's kind of proof that if you prime properly, it will look nice. Probably should have done a 2nd coat in some spots, but it's good enough for what it is, especially considering that pinball playfields, which are the big part with the graphics on here, they're going to be on the ceiling everywhere. And then I've got lots of sides and pinball machines that will probably go on the walls and stuff. The walls are just going to be covered.
There's a playfield.
There's a playfield. So yeah, something like this stripped out will actually go on the ceiling. And then this is a neat one actually here. This is what they call a wood rail. It's a pinball machine from the 50s, and you can see it literally has a wood rail. That's why they call it a wood rail. But I could tell you some more stories about this, but I had a lot of pinball machines that weren't complete that got scrapped for parts, and where some of this stuff that I kept it for. So when this is done, it's going to look neat. So yeah, the painting went wrong, so then I finally did this. Technically, I didn't need to paint, like I said. I just thought it really brightened it up a bit. Then the wall here, I came in after it rained a bunch, and as you can see, there's a tarp on the wall now, because I still need to finish that. That had water on the floor, and I managed to put my hand almost completely through the wall, because it had been leaking under the sill for God only knows how long. So I've got most of that ripped out, and I need to put it back, and I need to put the interior wall and the exterior wall back in, and I fixed up a lot of the framing. That still needs to be done. But that happened as I was trying to get the shed crawl on the go. Then I brought the 2 machines in, fingers crossed that they were going to work. Obviously they didn't. They're 2 machines that I owned previously. These were the ones you saw me move into my buddy Kirk's. We brought them back here. An electromechanical machine from like the 70s. So electromechanical is pre-PCB, like pre-computer boards. It's just all switches and relays and motors. If they're working, they generally stay working, but the little switches and contacts tend to gum up over time if they're not being used, if they're sitting idle. So these don't work now. I'll probably be able to get them fixed relatively easily enough, but they're there for now. I did bring in 1 arcade machine for the shed crawl. That is a Stern Scramble from the 80s. I repainted the other side of the cab and stenciled it. This side wasn't done. It needs new T-molding and stuff. Aaron actually helped quite a bit with that. Doesn't have an original monitor in it, just has an LCD and has a 16:1 board. But it was cool because a lot of people that came for the shed crawl, anyone that remembered arcade games from the era, was like, oh, I remembered playing Frogger, so they could play Frogger. I remember playing Miss Pac-Man, they could play Miss Pac-Man. So that was kind of neat. So yeah, we had that one working. These weren't. All this crap wasn't here, but I did have a lot of, like I said, the playfields, the marquees on the walls for people to look at. A lot of people found this one interesting, which is just an old tabletop bar game from, I don't even know what era. I can't remember. I haven't looked it up. It's an electromechanical game, and it functions a lot like the... If anyone's an 80s or a 90s kids, they probably remember these things at science fairs, where if you hit that, it would close the circuit and it would light up. So this is pretty neat. It's supposed to be able to test how drunk you are. So if you do really good, you're Superman, then you're sober as a judge, then you're a prohibitionist, then you're a teetotaler, then you're tipsy, then you're skunk drunk, then you're smashed, then you're plastered, then you're pickled, and if you're worse, you're embalmed. So that's pretty neat. I haven't even cleaned this off. I don't remember where I picked this up. There was a guy that I think restored radios in Newfoundland. I bought like 7 of this era stuff from him. So that'll stay in here when it's all done, and it'll be pretty neat. The shed crawl went really good. I only did 2 days out of the 3 because I was running a booth at the Fishwind and Folk Festival. My son was a big help helping me with that, covering while I did this stuff. I think both days I had 20-25 people in, 4 or 5 groups. Some stayed for a bit. A lot of people like to hear about kind of the history on how I got into this and kind of what my story is with the stuff. And I told them a lot of stories I have about when I was buying up a lot of the ex-operators. I had a full warehouse of this once upon a time. Like, there's a lot of neat stories I can tell, and a lot of neat history on Newfoundland. Like, apparently there's a trade magazine from back in the day that references Newfoundland had more jukeboxes per capita than anywhere else in Canada, when we weren't part of Canada at the time, though. So there's a lot of interesting facts and stuff like that around that I know in history. And when this is fully done, there's stuff I'm going to put on the walls. Like, I have paperwork from some of the arcades that were in Twillingate, like some high score reports and things like that. Some stuff from Munn about how much money, say, Pac-Man made at Bowater University, Bowater residence at university, say, in like 86 or stuff. Some really neat ephemera, we'll call it, I guess, technically. But I look forward to having all that stuff up. And some pictures and stuff of me when I've done pics, when I got into old warehouse and stuff over the years. So I look forward to having that done in here. This is going to kind of be my sharing my hobby with everyone. And it fits into the retro retreat perfectly. So that's kind of the plan. Oh, and also when I was emptying it out, then I ended up breaking the back windshield of my truck. That was a whole nother ordeal. So there's been a lot of ordeal to get to here. But, you know, it's painted. There's stuff in. This stuff needs to go. So, other than that, it's been an endeavor to get to this point for the Flippers Arcade Bunkie. As you can see, you know, this is my logo for Flippers there. Next to the Retro Retreat. This is what we had up for the Shed Crawl. That's pretty neat. But thanks for watching this one. And hopefully, when I show it to you guys again, it'll actually be a fully functioning bunkie. And when we're in the fully functioning bunkie, we will stay ready.